All right, we finna run one. Now, these next two videos I'm gonna bring y'all tonight, okay? I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all know it's a trigger warning, okay? If you're afraid of riding on bridges or roller coasters, I advise you to leave this content and come back after these two, okay? Definitely trigger warning, okay? Now, being an inspector, when it's time to recertify, at least back, here recently before you had the opportunity to go to some of these virtual schools, you had to go to a brick and mortar school. So back in 2022, when I had to go get my MT certification recertified, we went to this facility. Now, when you recertifying, you'll meet guys from all over the country, okay? They'll all descend on this one testing facility and take tests. So you got different guys from all different industries that's in this, this room taking tests. And y'all start sharing, your, what I like to call it, achievement stories. And you can talk to any construction worker, they got some job that's iconic that they worked on, and you'll hear them talk about it. Like me, for instance, I got an opportunity to inspect the USS Cole when it came to Virginia, like 2018 or 2019, okay? That was an iconic ship because of what happened to it over in Yemen, all right? So it was this inspecting, this old school cat. He was an inspector on the I-40 bridge. I think that's how you pronounce it, but the bridge that connects Tennessee to Arkansas, all right, Memphis to Arkansas. And I'm gonna tell you something, man. Bridge inspectors is already, to me, that's like top tier inspectors, because when you inspecting a bridge, the industry standards, you can't inspect it with a drone. You have to get up on it, to where it's arm's reach with your eyes. So this bridge has to be inspected every square inch. Even these big arch bridges, these bridges have to be inspected by a human being. Now, I'm gonna play y'all the news version, and then I'm gonna give it to y'all, our version of what really happened, okay? So let's check this clip out.
According to the American Road and Transportation Builders, more than 800 bridges in Tennessee are structurally deficient.
So that means one or more major structural components of the bridge are rated in poor condition.
That is tough to think about. As State Capitol reporter Gerald Harris shows us tonight, the infrastructure issues are coming to the forefront after inspectors discovered that huge crack in the I-40 bridge connecting Tennessee and Arkansas.
Governor Bill Lee has been briefed on the large crack that shut down a major bridge in Memphis.
Clearly, investments in infrastructure in this country are needed.
The I-40 bridge that connects Memphis and Arkansas could be out of commission for months.
And this I-40 bridge is the reason why we must continue to invest in our infrastructure of our country, because it not only helps commerce, it helps the economy, it helps jobs.
And new federal relief funds slated for Tennessee, rules give the governor broad discretion to spend $3.7 billion, money that could be spent for immediate infrastructure needs. Lee said he wants to wait for the federal infrastructure plan.
That's why we're so interested in what the federal dollars for the infrastructure, the future infrastructure plan are going to be. But our Department of Transportation has a regular process for inspection and repair for those bridges, and we use our dollars for that.
The new concerns underscore the need for new and targeted infrastructure repairs, including new money for the hundreds of structurally deficient bridges.
The shutdown of the I-40 bridge is a prime example why we need to use those dollars to invest in infrastructure. Closing that bridge is not only going to impact Memphis and shipping companies across this country, but it's going to affect this state as well.
The American Road and Transportation Builders Association estimates the cost of repairs for Tennessee at $3.7 billion. In Nashville, I'm Gerald Harris.
Both Representative Lamar and Governor Lee say they support what TDOT and their Arkansas counterparts are doing right now. The hope is the bridge will be back up sooner rather than later.
Now, that was the way the news presented it. Let me give it to y'all from, the bridge inspector that was, involved in that project. Okay. Regular day, and that's their job. They inspect bridges all the time. And you gonna, eventually find something wrong with the bridge because it might have been up 40, 50 years. Over time, all the cars riding on it and stuff like that. So you're gonna find something. Well, the actual inspector that found it, he was on that member, shimmering up that member when he came up on that crack. That entire member was cracked through. That bridge was one traffic jam away from being at the bottom of the Mississippi River. Now, I just want you to think how scared those guys had to be up under that bridge, knowing at any moment that bridge can collapse. At any moment, because like he explained to me, I'm no engineer, I'm no bridge inspector, okay? But like he explained to me, was that was a main member, and the load that member was supposed to have, it transferred to another member. Now that member got double the weight, and it wasn't engineered for that. And what's crazy was they got off the bridge and called 911. They got off the bridge and called 911 and was like, yo, y'all need to shut this bridge down. And, the 911 operator, they used to, call crazy calls, but this sounded like a call from a villain from a comic book. You gotta shut both sides of the bridge down, okay? But get this, the inspector that had inspected that bridge, he clearly missed it. They send drones, to do like shots of these bridges for like, you put it on, put your TV on the city, or when put your city on TV, they show like the bridges and the buildings. Or they went back to drone footage. There go that crack in that member. And what was really scary, it wasn't even cracked all the way through. So when they put it on the news, people that stayed in Memphis who, would go on, whatever attraction they have on that river, and they was taking pictures of the bridge, just to be able to say there go the bridge. They started looking at their pictures and they see the crack. He clearly missed it, okay? But like old school said, that bridge was so close to collapsing. And once again, the moral to the story, engineering is not easy as they make it out to be, okay? It's not easy. And I'm gonna, say one more thing about that. 800 bridges in Tennessee. 800, that's just Tennessee. What about Alabama? What about Georgia? What about Virginia? Okay, who else got these bad bridges? All right, but anyway, y'all jump in the comments and let me know.
Not designed for horizontal loading. That's okay, because the Hernando de Soto uses tied arches. Instead of transferring the arch thrust into an abutment, you can tie the two ends together with a horizontal cord. This tie works exactly like a bowstring, balancing the arch's thrust forces with its resistance to tension. Tied arch bridges don't transfer thrust forces to their supports, meaning they can sit atop piers designed primarily for vertical loads. This tension member is the subject of our concern. The crack in the Hernando de Soto bridge went right through one of the two arch ties on the eastern span. Watch what happens if I simulate a crack in my homemade bridge model. It's hard to understate the severity of the situation. These ties are considered fracture-critical members, those non-redundant structural elements subject to tension whose fracture would be expected to result in a collapse of the entire bridge.
911 emergency. Do you need police, fire, or ambulance?
I am doing a bridge inspection here on the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge, and we just found a super critical finding that needs traffic shut down in both directions on the I-40 Mississippi River Bridge. I've already called and talked to the RDOT people, and they're working on it. We need to get people off the bridge as soon as possible in both directions.
Okay, sir, you're on the I-40 bridge. Are you eastbound or westbound? What's going on?
I'm sitting westbound, and we found a critical finding in one of the members that is split.
And okay.
We need to get people off the bridge immediately.
Who are you with? Where are you calling from?
We are with Michael Baker. We're working for the Arkansas DMT doing a bridge inspection on the arch.
Okay, and you said you're with the Arkansas DMT?
Arkansas Department of Transportation.
And you have a split in the what?
We have a broken bridge member. We need to get traffic off the bridge.
Okay, and you've already reported it to Arkansas?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Bye-bye.